Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting on Monday, November 18th, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Can I get the roll call, please, Beth?
Select Chair, Mr. Coy.
Here.
Select Vice Chair, Mr. Gifford.
Here.
Selectman, Mr. DeRoche.
He's running over late. He's on his way.
Thank you. Selectman, Ms. Costa. Here. And Selectman, Mr. Britton.
Excused. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Judy, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And first up, we have public comments.
Try and pull the mic up close. Thank you. My name is Peter Brunchi. I live at 2 Balsam Way in Plastow.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Everybody heard I was going to be here, so 2 people didn't show up. But Greg did.
Well, your reputation still holds, I guess.
I am here tonight because I've been thinking about this subject for quite a while, and this is November is usually Veterans Appreciation Month, so I thought that it would be a good time to come up and just ask a few questions and maybe hopefully get something done. I don't think there's any question that you would consider me a veteran. Being a retiree with 21 years plus, and I am a veteran. But I'm not here to ask for anything for myself. We have a sign out in front of Town Hall that says support our veterans. But we don't really do that. I'm a veteran and I don't get anything. What I'm here to ask you folks is to be innovators in helping out the kids that are in Timberlane School right now, that are going to graduate shortly, and they're going to probably enlist in the armed forces or something. They have no money. They're dirt poor. They maybe have a wife, which that's their choice. But what do we do with those folks that cannot buy a house? They do not have any real estate taxes. How do you support them? You say, oh, thank you for your service. I go to Home Depot every day, and Home Depot says, thank you for your service. Here's 10% discount. I do the same thing at Lowe's, Agway, innumerable other places. Are they supporting me? I think they are. They're supporting the veterans of the United States military. But we don't help the kids that have no money. I've made a decision years ago on what to do with my finances. The kids graduating from high school that enlist for 2 years, 3 years, I don't know what they do. Are they considered veterans? I don't know what a veteran is. But I think they should be getting something. I think that Plastow could be the innovator in New Hampshire, or maybe the United States, to give these kids some help, whether it be excise taxes or something. But the sign out front says, support our veterans. It should say, support our veterans if they pay real estate taxes. I don't pay real estate taxes. I gave up my house years ago so that my daughter would not have to pay taxes if I go to long-term health care. It was a decision I made based on my finances. I'm still a veteran. I get nothing from Plastow, but that's my decision. The kids graduating from high school, it's not their decision to be poor, but they are. and they go off to Lackland Air Force Base or Camp Lejeune. They probably have a wife here, still got a car. And how do you support them? So I think it might be something that you could discuss amongst yourselves. How do you help that poor kid, guys, girls, and other, graduating from Timberlane? How do you support them? And they are the future of our military. It's those kids that are going to be the master sergeants and chiefs in the future. I think they need some help now.
So you're talking more or less the folks that don't own anything, something like that, because there's something for someone that owns property, right?
They probably have a car that's 10 years old, the excise taxes on it are $25 or whatever. I don't know what it would be. Why can't you waive that? It's a nothing. I don't know how many kids are going to enlist from Timberlane. No idea. But I know there's some. And they have no money to buy a house. Who does, really? So that's all I have. I'd like to see you be the innovators, or at least discuss the possibilities that we could do something in Plastone for the kids.
All right, we'll definitely talk about
All I
it,
got.
come up with something. And we might reach out to you too for bounce things. Maybe you even bounce some things off you too.
Okay.
After we talk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Nice being here again. Except for Greg.
Good to see you too, Mr. Bracci.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
All right, go to the agenda items, the ambulance update. Which will be for the last quarter, correct?
Right. In your folders is a quick synopsis. The last time we spoke in depth with regards to the ambulance was through June 30th, that second quarter. But now that the books have closed, through September 30th, the fire chief and I worked on putting a similar report together. And basically for quarter three, it shows total run charges of $355,000 with adjustments and write-offs of $239,000, which, as we've talked before, a lot of those are insurance, they're contractual, they're Medicare adjustments that are automatic. And then the collections for quarter three is a little over $90,000, almost $91,000. So year to date, it's showing, we collected around $140,000 so far. And basically, 6 months or so. The expenditures, the fire chief put together the expenses to date, and that is in the neighborhood of $427,000. So we're tracking towards where we were, projections were, collecting between $25,000 to $30,000 a month. And we are still investigating the best alternative for what to do with the receivables after the collection has been attempted, whether we're going collection agency and the like, but we're still working on that as well. So nothing unusual. We're on track where we thought we would be at this point. So
So it looks like what you're roughly starting to collect, we're starting to see a trend, probably roughly high 20s to 30,000 a month, somewhere in that vicinity.
correct. Which that will, over 12 months, 30,000, 360,000. And I know the fire chief was using approximately $400,000 as a year, revenue number. So we're not far off from that.
Can I ask a little question? So some of the monies that have been uncollected, are they like 30, 60, 90 days out? And is it from the insurance that we're not getting paid from? So
Yes.
they're taking their time?
Some of it, yes. I mean, some, insurance companies and the like will have, a set maximum that they'll pay towards an ambulance charge, so there will be a remaining balance. So it's what are we going to do with that remaining balance?
All right. And is it trending towards specific insurance companies that are doing that, or is it all of them, or?
No, they all have their own process. Yeah. The contractual write-off, those are the Medicare ones, which there is no alternative, once those are written off, that's that.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously some of that money we'll try to collect. You're just trying to figure out
How to do it?
which agency the best way to go through.
Right.
Okay.
So that could increase, right? We'll bring in some,
Yeah, we would anticipate more collections, based off of that when we move forward with that.
so year to date, we're at, what we've actually received in is just, like you just said, just south of 141. And the expenditures, you have that broken out too, which is great. That's like roughly 427, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a difference.
So can I ask another question?
Sure, absolutely.
So the expenditures, are those annual, reoccurring, or will some of these be like pulled out? Like fuel is definitely reoccurring, but
Right.
like uniforms as is, medical physicals, are those annually?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a mixture of both.
But as our uncollected continues to increase, and now we're,
Approximately 358,000.
right,
Yes.
so but over time, that's going to start cycling back into our receivables, and you're going to see the receivables stretch up a little bit more,
Yes.
closer, so that we get to that, closer to that 400 mark, so we're running pretty much it.
Right.
And in out.
Correct.
Good. And the service that we provide is 100% better than the service that we were getting, so.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's really the main thing when you think
Yeah.
about it, right?
Right, we were talking, how many of those people are having Thanksgiving this year that wouldn't be having Thanksgiving if this service wasn't provided, so.
Right, exactly. Greg, is there any way, can we get this posted out there? So everyone can
Yes.
see it?
We'll get it on the website.
It's actually on the website under media materials, but it just got posted probably 40 minutes ago.
Okay. What's it under again? So everyone knows?
It's on the same page as the agenda, meeting materials.
Okay, so it's under the meeting materials. But I'm saying if we can have a spot,
Sure.
I'm not sure what the best spot is. Do we put it under the fire department?
Fire department,
Well,
finance.
Because they have a thing for ambulance, right?
I'm not sure.
There or somewhere else.
We'll figure out a good spot for it.
All right. Well, this is good to get this every quarter. Because we've really been running it, I guess, 7 full months now, right? Pretty much something like that, 8 months. Because we're into November now. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely been something worthwhile that we could do. When you talk to everyone that used it, I really haven't heard anything negative about the service at all.
No.
No, whatsoever.
All right. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Next up, we wanted to appoint 2 BOS reps to the track committee. We had it like several meetings ago. We had listed it as Jay and myself. I don't know if we still wanted to keep it that. Obviously, Jay should be on it. Jay's been on it. I'm still willing to be on it unless,
I'm more than happy to step up if you want, if you
I
want
mean, I'm good right now because I know you got a lot on your plate, especially now where you're
budgeting.
correct at
Yeah.
the school.
I'm always happy to be the alternate
Yeah.
if you need me to.
Okay. All right, perfect. So hopefully we'll be getting those, that meeting set up. I'm hoping, I'm not sure he's not here. Hopefully he'll be here shortly. But might be looking for something, get December, get that rolling, which we could kind of become proactive this year with that.
So do we need to make a motion for that, or?
I think we already did, so we should be good, Beth,
All
right?
right.
We should be all set.
All right.
All right. So next up, discuss warrant articles, Greg?
I did not have a chance to put anything together for that, so we can table that till the next meeting.
Is there anything you're anticipating besides like, obviously, well, there's always CIP items.
Mostly the CIP items and then the lease of the landfill area long-term for solar projects. Other than that, I'm unsure at this point. So nothing really comes to mind.
But there's nothing that we have to be on the lookout for, that no one's looking for anything outrageous or anything, right? Just typical CIP most of it.
For the most part, yeah. We're working on finalizing a couple of things, so.
We'll be waiting.
I know you will be.
All right, so we'll table that. Cruising right along here. Next up would be ARPA. And I know we have something, it was in our folder.
There's another analysis in the folders. It is an update to when the last time we discussed this was back in August. And at that point in time, a couple of items were approved. Police radios, support of the police canine program. I know we had done the sign, but there was also the stretcher for the fire department that was approved at the last meeting. So this is up to date with, the interest that's been earned through October. But now that we're down to approximately $40,000 is what's left to spend or commit to utilize. So
And obviously, we got to do it before the end of the year.
we need to do it by the end of the year. So.
I know
There are a couple of items that have, one of them we had spoken about in August, but the urgency, I guess, of it, which was the financial software for the town, looks like more of a sooner rather than later issue that we need to address, especially with some of the problems that we're having between water, billing, and the like. So I would like to reconsider that. Also, in meeting with our IT company, even though we did the server upgrade last year, because we still had at least a year left on the firewalls. The firewalls are coming to end of life, if you will. So, and those equipment wise is around $20,000. The financial software is in the neighborhood of 18 to 20,000. So,
in the financial software that would allow you to change for the water, because I know there's been issues with that billing.
partly for the water, but also for all of the general accounting of all records.
And how old is the software now for the financial?
It still is DOS based.
Oh, my God.
What?
Yeah, it's a DOS based program that we are utilizing now. That's why they they were working on a web-based program and did not have very much success in building a web-based program. And so what they ended up doing was selling out to another vendor instead of building their own. So that's where the end of life is going to be a little bit sooner, I think, than later. But their program is basically still is a DOS-based program.
I haven't heard that in a while. It's almost a word I forgot all about.
Exactly.
And have you already tested new software so you know which?
We have been doing several demonstrations of different vendors and software. So we do have an idea of what.
So you know the one that you want.
Pretty much, yes.
And on the other software for the firewall, that's coming up this year.
Yes.
And that's important to have the firewall.
Yeah.
I think we all know about
The
that.
upgrade of the firewalls, yes.
That's not something you can get caught with an older version with holes or anything like that in it.
Yeah, especially
So it's
nowadays.
extremely important. So roughly, for those two, you're probably talking the neighborhood, I'm guessing about 38, kind of from what you said,
Correct.
somewhere in there.
Do we have it budgeted for next year in the budget? Or do we?
Not for the firewalls, no.
Not for the firewalls,
But you figure we got a month to go, right?
okay.
And you get 2 holidays in there, so that's 2 weeks you're gonna lose. So we have to kind of decide, unless anybody had any ideas of anything where they thought, but I mean, the firewall's a must. That's
Firewalls are an automatic.
Yeah, safety.
right. And then if you got financials still dealing with DOS paste,
Oh my
I
God.
mean, that really needs to be
That-
upgraded too.
Yeah,
And then that way there, those things will be taken care of. Was there anything else you were looking at, or these were your 2 top items?
These are probably my 2 top items at this point. I don't really have a whole lot other than that. I mean, there's obviously, when we get into the computer equipment and the like, we do look at trying to, every 3 to 4 years is turn over the inventory, with a 25 to 30% every year. So there's that. And when you talk about the IT budget, it is very fluid because, as I had mentioned during the budget process, they've got their, the must-haves, the strong recommendations, and then, the ones that if money was no object, that we sit out here. But, so we're somewhere in between, and that's what we're trying to nail down with the budget, from that standpoint. So I'm working with the IT company to put together that, to make sure that we have, enough money in the budget currently to get us at least, in the middle. So
I know, I'm good with
I'm good with
Motion.
the firewall.
the
Yeah.
firewall and the financial software, right?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Is combined, it will be that much?
yes,
Okay,
Motion, yeah, let's make a motion.
I'll make the motion to expend, the rest of the ARPA funds?
sure, that's fine.
39,881.22.
Yep.
For software and firewall purposes,
In the financial software.
in the financial software.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So 300.
All right, thank you.
Then I'll tell you, the ARPA funds too, I think when we go back and we looked how we've used the money, I think we've done a good job.
I look at it and it's safety, health and safety of the community, and, with this last piece, it's, the health and safety of our financial situation within the building.
Yeah, and it's the security too, right? So you have that, I mean, you look at it, we received way back a total of just over 800,000. I mean, we put some money towards the new fire truck we got.
Yep.
We helped did some stuff with the highway, police, roof, so we've done, I think we've done a good job taking care of some stuff that we were kind of lacking in a little bit. We got ourselves up to date.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the police department alone in vehicles, we brought that up to a current cycle now, so.
Right, so that's in the cycle, and that fleet was hurting.
Yeah.
So I think we've done a pretty good job.
Thank you. I agree. I think we've been very wise and very prudent with the decision-making, that's for sure.
Yeah, there was nothing frivolous. We didn't, spend it on courts or anything like that. All right, last item on the agenda was the elder affairs. Bylaws, is that what we're looking at?
That's correct. Bylaws, rules of procedure. I mean, it was, you want to speak to it, Liz, or do you?
At the last meeting, it was mentioned that these had never been brought forth from a previous select board representative. So it was emailed this week or last week to town hall to review and get on the agenda at some point. They're here tonight.
So not necessarily being under the gun, but they're at least here for review. We can either, table it for tonight if we want any of the Elder Affairs Committee to come, or we can, proceed. I leave it up to the board's wish.
I defer to the Chair.
I was gonna say, what do you think? Would they want to come in to discuss them, or they've already vetted this, right?
They've already
They're
done it.
better than-
It was, the previous committee wrote it. I think they just wanted it to be signed off on. And then we'll just have to get the appointments going that are listed in here to get people appointed to the board, to the committee.
Yeah, I mean, I read through it. I think it's fine from what I saw.
I did before the meeting and had a chance to read through it, so.
So I guess my only question, and I wasn't on the committee, is we should identify the needs of the senior citizens and work with the town departments and then plan and carry out the activities. But I guess it's just semantics in the first paragraph under Article 2.
I mean, I'm okay with going forward, or we can
Yeah.
table it, one or the other, to the next meeting. and
I'd say
sign
let's
off.
just do it. Let's just do
Okay.
it.
They're part of the committee, and they can always come back and change something if we had to.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked fine. Reading through. Then if you just want to make the motion, then.
Is this a consensus or a motion?
Take a
Motion.
You can make the motion.
Okay. I make the motion that we enact the rules and procedures for the Elderly Affairs Committee.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That being said, there's always people looking for volunteers for the elderly committee right here.
Elder Affairs. Yes, we want you.
Elder Affairs, Rec Committee, they're all intertwined.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. Those groups really are, and it's, and it doesn't have to be a lot of time either, right?
No.
Even if you can only do
It's-
an hour a month or something.
They meet an hour to 2 hours every month. They plan out activities. And some people are on the committee and other people just come in to volunteer their time at the various functions.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? That's perfect if you don't want to go to every meeting, but you want to help out.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Your requirements are you're a Plastow resident, 18 plus with a positive attitude. Can't get much simpler
No.
than that.
No, and you're helping out your fellow citizen too in town,
That is
Right.
correct.
which is the good thing. All right, next up is approve the consent agenda. Right here. The items that we had in the consent agenda for this week are the accounts payable manifest for the week of November 14th and 21st for 2024, the BOS draft minutes of November 4th, 2024. We have one service-connected total disability tax credit application, two 2024 administrative abatement requests, one water consumption fees warrant, one water line connection tax warrant, 3 appointments to the track committee, 5 alternate appointments to the track committee. Someone wants to make a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and you're up, Greg, town managers report. Come on down.
All right, where do I start? Maybe a little lengthy here. With end of year coming, we're wrapping up the asset management grant, which that was a $100,000 grant that the town had received from the state with regards to the water side of things. As we wrap it up, Underwood Engineers will be coming before the board, I believe, on December 16th to present an overview of the grant and the like. With end of year coming as well, we're looking at projects that are still in process that cannot be completed, but contracts that are still open. One of the big ones that we have is the Westville Road, and the question of whether the barrels are staying up or not, what we're doing with the intersection. So Dan and I have had many a discussion with regards to that, and his comfort level is to leave the barrels up for the wintertime, because it will be one of those things where they're going to have to learn to what it's going to take to salt, sand, and be able to plow that intersection. So instead of putting in permanent curbing and the like, we feel it's going to be a good test for the winter to be able to do it with barrels, because obviously they are much more forgiving. So, and that will still allow us to work with DOT to get proper approvals for the intersection. We have run out of time from a standpoint of paving and getting the curbing done with Continental, our paving contractor. So we're going to at least run with the barrels for the winter, see what happens, and then adjust from there. And then with the idea that we'll do the work in the spring. The landfill this coming Saturday is the last Saturday. Dan said he's, been fielding questions on whether they're going to stay open longer than that, and it's going to be a wait and see. We'll, see what the weather is and, how people are doing. Just to bring it up again too, is the building department, the inspection department has moved from the town hall annex downstairs on the first floor here at town hall. The move went very well, and I think everyone is settled in downstairs. We still are getting some, questions and the like about weren't aware of the move, but we were still getting questions 3 years or 4 years after they moved up to the annex. So that's, no surprise there. But we still do have the two departments that are still up there. We have our building maintenance department. We have our recreation department that is still up there, still operating. We're hoping that, with the extra space for recreation, that they can stay in-house more than have to haul everything over to the library or over to the Vic Geary. So the hope is to be able to expand and use that extra space.
Up at the annex, what's that roughly? What does it cost the town a year? It's not a ton, right?
No, it's between I think it was $8,000 for utilities and the like to keep the water, the heat, the electricity. So it's a small cost in relation to the overall budget.
And maintenance is out of there, recreation's out of there, so it's still being used.
It's still being used, and it's still in a way it has to, because we don't really have a room. We don't have room for them here. We had, the third floor is, from a insurance and liability standpoint, is not an option. And honestly, maintenance was in a small corner down in the basement, which again, from an insurance and a health and safety standpoint, is not viable either. So
if you went up to the third floor, then basically when they have their elder affairs meetings, they'd have to get up to the third floor.
Well, we can't put recreation
Plus
on
you
the
can't,
third
no,
floor.
you can't, because they need more room than that.
Right.
Yeah, especially with the programs, it gets run out of there. Okay.
Budget committee is meeting tomorrow night, so I've been working on getting the handouts ready and everything finalized, checked and double checked, in anticipation of them starting. Quarterly water bill, we just finalized that last week, as well as the fire suppression bill. And we've also done some other billings that we are, usually do at the end of the year, such as the Walmart, the agreement for the police officer and things of that nature. One other thing that I had thought about that just slipped my mind, so I'll think of it.
It's not easy getting old, Greg.
I know it. So the fire chief was unable to be here tonight, but he had given me a letter that he wanted to bring up. But as, those of you, obviously I know the board is very well aware, but November 10th, on that morning, the fire department, police department were dispatched to the report of the explosion over at the condominium complex over on Westville Road. Within 33 seconds of being dispatched, and then 3 minutes and 3 seconds later, to be on site to find the 3-story, 12-unit complex with significant damage to an exterior wall. That the Plastow Fire Rescue personnel and paramedics were able to quickly assess for entrapment and injuries. And fortunately, none of that was reported, and no one was trapped in any debris. Personnel from the fire and the police departments evacuated the building and accounted for all the occupants. The building was secured for an investigation into the cause of the explosion. He says, on behalf of the Plastow Fire Department and the town, he'd like to thank the following for their assistance during this incident. There were several individuals and their agencies involved. Therefore, please excuse any errors for anyone who may have been unintentionally left out. Hands off, the board, I know all five of you, I was not around that day, but I know that all five of you were there to help, and you're number one on his list. The assistance that I provided, the Plastow Fish and Game for allowing the use of the building. I know that Vic Geary was an option, but they had the previous commitment. So, the thank you goes out to the Fish and Game, as always, to stand up and help out. The American Red Cross was a huge help that day, providing assistance and financial needs. The Southeastern New Hampshire Hazardous Materials Mutual Aid District for providing their vehicle as command post. Thank you to the Kingston and Newton, New Hampshire Fire Departments for providing station coverage while our members of the fire department were on scene. The Plastow Animal Control Officer, Tom Wilson, who assisted with the needs of evacuees and their pets. The New Hampshire Office of the State Fire Marshal with the assistance in the investigation. The Emergency Dispatch for dispatching and handling the resources during the incident. The Police Department for securing the scene and joint investigation. The Office of Emergency Management, Patrick Kiley, for coordinating the CERT team and the CERT team for helping out where they were able. The Plastow Junior Firefighters, the ones that showed up and the like to assist with helping shore up the building. The property manager over there, Greg Mason, for communicating with all the occupants, in the days following the incident, along with coordinating times that the occupants could access the building. Our inspectors, the electrical, gas, and building, Tom Tombarello, Dave Field, and Mike Dorman, working to, what they could with the engineers, the insurance companies, and the like. The chief goes on to say that he'd like to publicly thank the men and women of the Plastow Fire Department. They responded professionally, calmly, and competently. The support that we received from our community has empowered us to be prepared for events like this. Our staff was able to quickly arrive on the scene. The number one priority is life safety, then incident stabilization and property conservation. They've been trained and equipped to shore buildings in the event of a collapse. This capability allowed us to make the building safe for the investigation, preventing any further damage, and get the building reoccupied for normal use. So that being said, that as of Friday, November 15th, 9 of the 12 units were returned to the occupants for normal use and occupancy. So, which I think in the beginning it was expected to be far worse than that, but they were, able to get 9 out of the 12 units in there.
It's amazing from being there that day,
Mhm.
that 9 out of the 12
9.
were back in that quick. It's amazing.
Yeah. He did a great job making sure that the residents and the select board and the Red Cross were all informed. And he said he would be there at noon. He was there like 10 past just because he had to follow up. He was the chief, both chiefs were there on target, making sure that the residents had everything that they needed and checked in with us to make sure we had everything we needed to help the people, the residents. And hats off to both the police and fire.
No, I agree. So that's, he does, to say that we have a great fire department, police department, and public safety partners who work very well with each other. We have a community, town manager, and board of selectmen who support our mission, allow us to make a difference every single day. This incident illustrates the importance of adequate funding for public safety. So,
Yeah, it was really amazing that day how everybody came together as quickly as they did.
Mhm.
I mean, right
I
down
think-
to you can't get in the Vic area. I don't know how long after you got the call. You must have had that thing opened almost right away, the
Oh,
fishing
we
game.
were open in 10 minutes after
Yeah.
that. But
So that was up there, and and that was a traumatic day for everybody
It was.
involved, especially if you're dealing with everything. And I mean, just you saw the community come together. And I mean, I've never dealt with anything like that before, and obviously it could have been a lot worse. Luckily, nobody was injured. There was no injuries. But to see how quick the Red Cross showed up,
Yeah, what was that like?
unfortunate incident
yeah,
opened my eyes to just how well-oiled these organizations are.
Yeah, I mean,
that Red Cross
Yeah,
came in boxes and boxes and supplies and organization. And then the chiefs all corresponding with one
Yeah.
another, the officers keep coming back and talking and keeping everybody in the know so that they weren't, some of these people were on the outs of where they were going to be for the
Yeah.
next month. They didn't know,
yeah, no, yeah,
There's a lot of a burden that got lifted by these guys.
yeah,
so.
and the Red Cross provided them with the funds so they could go out and get something to get them through for a couple of days. The CERT team was there right away. I mean, it was nice to see how everybody came together quick.
Yeah, and I think the whole select board was there by like 9:20, the latest.
Yeah.
Like, we got the text and we were there.
Last thing is, I remember tomorrow morning, I've got the 60% design on the Wilder Drive project. So
Oh, nice.
we are meeting with that and be able to get the bid documents going and the like, to be able to get that out to bid for the spring. So that was the other major thing. So
That'll be nice for that area
It will.
to get that done.
Yep.
Is that everything?
I think so, yes.
All right, Selectmen's reports. Liz?
Elder Affairs meeting is tomorrow. Conservation and Energy were canceled this month. Budget committee is tomorrow, which Greg alluded to. It was great to see so many people at the Veterans Day breakfast.
Yes.
I think it was bigger this year than it was last year. And we had so many scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, supporting the vets, and that was really nice to see as well. And it was just nice to see the public supporting the veterans.
It is, and I think this is the second year we've done that. And I think it's probably going to be what we do going forward, because I think that's what the veterans are here for, more than when we just used to do it out here on the town green.
It's nice. It builds community.
And the one big thank you needs to go to Beth for organizing it all.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She keeps us all in line.
Yeah, she does.
Those events that don't just happen,
No.
you know. Beth keeps us going.
I would like to reach out to more veterans to be there, though.
Yes, I hear
We
you.
had an awful lot of scouts and an awful lot of support mechanisms there.
Yeah.
But we would like to see more of our
More,
veterans.
Yeah.
We can pay tribute to
And
men and women that.
Mhm.
And I agree, and I think that the Monday, because the Veterans Day follows the day, it's hard sometimes because it's not a holiday everybody gets off. So, maybe,
Yeah, and that. You're right. That is the hard part. A lot of people had to work.
yeah. So I took I had a vacation day, so I used
Yeah.
to be there.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All
I
right.
just want to say thank you to the fire and police for doing such a phenomenal job on the 10th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just are inspiring how
Yep.
they went into action.
Yep. Jonathan?
Ditto on all of that, and I went to the recreation meeting the other night. And again, I'm gonna say, hey, they need volunteers. But Jen's doing a great job mixing between elder affairs and recreation and getting all of the winter things that are coming up and events, so forth, that now that the baseball and the other ones are shut down, so she's got a full plate. She's constantly moving and getting things going, and
Yeah,
I'm truly impressed with the amount of stuff that she offers that I don't know that everybody in town knows it's available or chooses to utilize.
they'll probably see a lot of it coming up, right? Because it's December.
It
And there's
is
a lot
the
of
season.
events. And I know myself, what I have planning board coming up this Wednesday. Obviously Veterans Day, we were there. We were all together on that Sunday, which was unfortunate, but I mean, the town came together, which was good to see. And that's really about it. Just got some events. I did get an email that was sent. I got this from Cab over at the library on the the North Carolina Hurricane Relief donations that they did. So he sent me an email. He just wanted to share some good news with you and the rest of the board on behalf of the library. As you probably know, hurricanes Helene and Milton dealt a pretty devastating blow to the Mid-Atlantic region in late September, early October. The Plastow Public Library is one of 50 locations in the U.S. participating in the GKC's Under 500 New Underwear and Sock Drive to benefit students directly affected by the storms. The library received 946 donations and shipped 5 large boxes to North Carolina, and that was paid for by one of the friends of the library. So it was good to see. It's, kudos to them for stepping up and helping. Something not just in our area. Events coming up, kind of as we were just talking about, a list of things going on with recreation. Once again, they'll be doing the letters to Santa. The letters can be dropped off at the Town Hall gazebo, no postage required. They must have a direct hotline up to the North Pole. They will be collected and sent to the North Pole every few days between December 1st and the 19th. Also, they'll be doing Show Us Your Holiday Lights. Plastow Recreation is creating a holiday lights map to feature the town's most festive outdoor displays. If you want to be included, email recreation@plastow.com by December 11th. Maps will be posted on social media by December 12th with printed copies at Town Hall, the Annex, and the library. All participants will be entered into a raffle to win a $25 Market Basket gift card. The winner will be announced on December 16th. Also, they do this every year, the wreath making workshop. This year will be on December 3rd from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Pollard School. The cost is $15 for residents and $20 for non-residents. $15 is pretty cheap for a wreath and to make it yourself. Also, the annual holiday trip to the Yankee Candle Village in Deerfield, Mass. Will be on December 10th. This will be followed by a lunch buffet at the historic Deerfield Inn. The cost is $45 for Plastow and Sandown residents. So soon that must mean those two towns teaming up.
Resources, yeah.
Perfect. And the Christmas tree lighting, well, it doesn't have a day on it. It just says between 5 and 6, but I think it's going to be
December
this-
1st.
right, the first, because everything's so late this year with Thanksgiving. So the Christmas tree lighting at the gazebo will be December 1st between 5 and 6. Keep an eye out for that. I believe Santa usually shows up for that too. That'll be one of his first trips here.
Yeah, I think
Usually makes it on the fire engine, I believe.
I believe he does.
And I would imagine in the Sunday before Christmas, I'm sure that'll be when he, goes through town. That's when it usually is. Pretty lucky around here. Santa likes Plastow. He shows up a few times. Anybody want to bring anything else up?
The giving tree downstairs, the annual for seniors and the like, there's tags on the tree in the lobby to select for a senior for needs and then bring them back. I'm not sure what the date is to bring them back, but there is. We did actually had quite a few people come in today to
Good.
grab a tag off the tree. So it was.
It's worthwhile because it helps the seniors out. And it's just basic things that they look for. So if you can come in, grab a tag, bring it back, and I believe when you return it to Janet Recreation over at the Annex.
sounds
And,
good.
right, and do not wrap them. I believe that's the other thing with them too.
Right.
So don't wrap them, just bring them in a bag, and Jen puts it all together and, has bags and stuff that she puts together for them. So that's always worthwhile to help somebody out in a little bit of need this time of year.
Absolutely.
I know that's all I have. Is there non-public?
No non-pub?
No non-public?
We're good.
We're good?
We're good.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with the family, and we'll be back, I guess, early December. So we'll close the meeting at 6:50. Thank you.
Take care.